it was ugly, to be honest. It was a really hard moment for everybody. It is a story that you don't believe. I mean, you're on the road that you normally take all the time, and that road doesn't exist anymore. You're gonna see bodies, I mean, laying on the ground. It's a really strong smell of people who is buried on the mud, and that's part of the what is really shocked you a lot. My name is Eugenio Fons, and I was born in Santiago de Cuba, Cuba, in July 1st, 1959. The tragedy of Vargas happens in December 15, 1999. Imagine just changing to the 2000. That was a critical year for everybody. And what happened was a landslide. A lot of rains in a mountain for almost 2 weeks, staying there and raining and raining and raining. There was a moment where the water was so much that whatever was there became a mud and went down onto the hills. We're talking about hill who is more than, let's say, 12,000 feet high. And that things came down into the cities and destroyed about 80, 90 kilometers of the coast, disappearing a lot of lands and killing more than 35,000 people. It was Christmas time, and I remember we set up our Christmas tree, and everybody was happy as a regular Christmas. And the kids have, my biggest son have an activity at school. It was kindergarten, by the way. And talking about 1999, we are in around December the 10, 12, something like that. And we went there to the school to celebrate with the kids, and that was already raining. And I remember the floor was wet, and we was trying to stay away from the rain. And after that, I left. A day and a half later, I left the country and went to Peru because my job. And I stayed in Lima through the weekend, through the whole week. And suddenly on Thursday morning, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from a friend of mine who said, you better call your wife because the things are not going really good over there. And that's what I did. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I called my wife. And she was scared, she was screaming, and she was desesperated. She was telling a lot about a lot of water coming in front of the street, and I wasn't so believing what she was saying, but again, she was in panic. I went from there, immediately packed all my stuff and went out of the hotel, moved to the airport. I went called my office in Sao Paulo in Brazil and asked them, listen, find a trip, a plane. I need to go back to Caracas, and that was impossible. The international airport in Caracas was down. I mean, there was no access to the area. And the only option they told me, listen, there is some flights coming out of Caracas, out of Miami, who went to Valencia, who is a city who is about 2 hours away from Caracas. And they said, okay, hook me in any of these flights, and I'm going to be able to get it from Miami. Take me out of Lima now, send me to Miami, and from there we're going to find a way how to go back into the country. Finally, at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, I was able to take the first flight who left in direction to Valencia. And we were one of the first guys who landed in Valencia. On the way to Caracas, I was trying to reach my friends, my family. There was no phone communication, just listening to the news, and the news was extremely bad. Several days has passed through, and we decided to go back to the apartment because we left everything over there. And in order to go to the area was all impossible. They shut it down. Then came a very good idea because I was part of the Boy Scouts, and I know that my group, it was very involved on the rescue. And they told me, Eugenio, we're going to send a 4-wheel drive to the place. You want to come with us, and you're going to go to see your house. You're more than welcome. And we jumped into a car and we drove in direction. We have like 500 tetanus vaccines with us, and the trunk was full of water. Our first arrival was into the firefighter, and we know the captain of that place. And we went to there and with the vaccines, and we told him, listen, we have here 500 vaccines. And they say, wait, shut up. Don't tell anybody anything and hide it over there. Let me talk to my commander. And he came back to say, listen, we're going to put the vaccine for you guys first, and then the group here and the firefighters. And after that, the family members or whatever, and then we can give it to the people. And that's what we did. We get our vaccines, and we move in direction to the apartment. You are driving in the street, and you see people coming trying to get out of this area. They were like zombies walking on the street. And at the beginning, we was trying to help them, giving some water, but this became very dangerous because the people came into the car and they want to get everything that we have on the car, and it was a really life risky thing. We decided not to throw water anymore, and we keep running. I mean, away for these people. And when you saw it, I mean, a couple of or the mother with kids or something, we stopped by and we just dropped the water and keep running. I remember seeing a friend of mine who was the owner of one of the museum over there. He was walking like a zombie, and I saw the guy and I asked him, "Hey, Sois, was his name? Sois, are you okay?" And he looked at me. My eyes, he was like empty. He was like shocked with the tragedy that he saw. He said, "No, no, no, I am okay. Keep going, because there is a lot of people that need help." And it was very impressive to see that guy, who was the soul of a very important museum, being, I mean, that way, like a zombie walking on the street. After that ride, we finally arrived to the apartment, and we walk into the apartment, and it was impressive to see the apartment. It was like my house was gone. The main gate, it was you barely can see the name of the building. It was like 9 feet up. The name in this moment was on the level floor, and we saw a couple of apartments that were already open. And when we arrived into apartment, we got scared that we'd open it, but we were lucky because we have a safety lock on the apartment, and it was intact. And we said, okay, what should we took? There was no room for taking everything. We only have to take something, and that is the part when you think about what can you take from your house. You only have 10 minutes to pick everything out of there, what you will take. And in this case, is when you learn something. The most valuable thing that you have are documents, nothing else. Forget about jewelry, forget about hard drive, forget about any kind of things. That doesn't matter. You need to have the documents that the things belong to you. The biggest things that we took out from this place was a toy. And I remember it was a fire truck, a big fire truck for my little son. And the psychiatric told us, you bring something from there that is going to make feel comfortable, and he's going to forget what happens. And this is what we took from them: documents and the toy for my kids. And that was the only thing that we took that in the first trip for this apartment. The rest, we left everything behind. We destroy everything, more or less, make it look like somebody already went there and take everything out. It was more for safety reason. And we locked the apartment as much as we could. Few days later was Christmas. Our main worry was the kids. We want to make them as much as possible to remove this trauma. To really, they were kids. I mean, they were just, okay, that was my Christmas present, what's going on, and so on. But the adults, that was what really hurt. And I remember seeing the faces for everybody. I mean, my uncle, I mean, all everybody around was extremely sad. It was a miracle. Nobody from my family basically was dead. The houses was destroyed, but everybody was there. At the end, I will say everybody in Venezuela was affected somehow. And until today, they remember exactly what happened there. And the Vargas disaster, and the tragedy of Vargas, was something that marked a lot of people.
Y si un día tengo que naufragar y el tifón rompe mis velas, enterrad mi cuerpo cerca del mar. En Venezuela.